right, let's move on here. America's top attorney says he promises to stop Florida's aim at removing AP Black courses. This is your thing. The court-aligned civil rights attorney Ben Crump took to the stage during Sunday's 102nd annual Lincoln Douglas Freedom Fund banquet and called out Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, our boy, for his anti-CRT rhetoric and legislature, telling the audience he would do everything in his power to oppose DeSantis and saying, quote, "I refuse to let Governor DeSantis exterminate Black history. I refuse to let anybody exterminate Black history because Black history is American history." And I second, third, fourth, and fifth that, because that's been the basis of my comeback when we've had these discussions here at FOXSOUL's Black Report.
I mean, we talk about this so often, and this is one of, the big questions that's before the American people, and we're seeing this fight manifest state by state. We see it in Florida. We're seeing, efforts to undercut not just Black history, but diversity, equity, and inclusion training and efforts in places like Texas. I was just talking to Representative Clyburn this past Sunday on my radio show on KBLA. We were talking about the efforts that are afoot in South Carolina. And right now in Charleston, there's an effort that's being led by the South Carolina Freedom Caucus to essentially do in Charleston what DeSantis is doing in Florida, right? And so we're seeing these efforts, to go after critical race theory, even though we know critical race theory is not taught in schools. Critical race theory is really a graduate level a part of a graduate level curriculum, but we know that in Charleston, South Carolina, folks are pushing back against that narrative, and instead of critical race theory, they said, what we're doing, it's culturally relevant teaching. Culturally relevant teaching, that is the kind of CRT that's happening in places like Charleston, not the efforts that, folks like the South Carolina Freedom Caucus and Governor Ron DeSantis's ilk is proposing. And so
I know for me, going back to high school, now that I've got a little wisdom, a little age on me, a little knowledge on me, I know going back for me, I would have loved for a requirement to alongside of Shakespeare to be like a Harlem Renaissance course. That'd have been right up my alley, because I really didn't get into that until maybe college, when I took specific courses that were designed to delve into that particular time in our history. But never was that type of a choice in high school. But I can tell you Shakespeare was definitely a requirement. So that's my burn right there, is that our history is American history, and I should have had a choice, or there should have been a requirement also to balance the culture out and have some Black studies in high school as well.
Yeah, and African American studies has always been, a topic of contention for a lot of folks, and so, the struggle continues,
and so
but
does
they're not going to win.
And the fight. That's it.
That's right. That's right.